United States Commission on International Religious Freedom released its country report on religious freedom in India, and they have marked India in the red zone. The technical word is country of particular concern. This is not this year. For the 3 consecutive years, US SURF has been reporting India as the country of particular concern. And the slogan of present regime is Hindu, Hindi, Hindustan, that it is a nation of the Hindus, only Hindi language will be spoken here, and there is no place for minorities other than either convert to Hinduism or be ready to perish like the Spanish Inquisition. Sikhism believes in religious freedom, believes in liberty, believes in justice for all, but we the believers of God, we believe that ultimately truth prevails. Injustice anywhere is the threat to justice everywhere. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh. Good morning, my brothers and sisters, Honorable Mayor, Council persons, and all our American friends who are here today to show their solidarity with 35 million Sikh nation who declared their independence from India 36 years ago on this day, April 29, 1986. City of Norwich, a historical city, and the center in which we are standing, this circle attributed to David Rudders, and the history of Emancipation Proclamation, the history of slavery, visit of President Abraham Lincoln a few yards away, reminds us that how this city of Norwich has carved a place in Sikh history as well. When in independent sovereign Khalistan history will be written, it will be written that thousands of miles away in a small city of Norwich, which is on the side, they have showed their support to the sovereignty, independence of the Sikh nation. Brothers and sisters, Sikh nation, as in the beginning, it has been mentioned that Guru Nanak, which is not only the Guru of the Sikhs, Guru word means which dispels darkness, which creates light. Guru Nanak was born in 1469, and when we look at the geographical scenario, majority of Americans, when they look at India, they always think India a land of Gandhi. And when they look at land of Gandhi, for them it is non-violence, the main creed. Then they look at India as a land of yoga, the land of peace, land of spirituality. But my brothers and sisters, 2 days ago, United States Commission on International Religious Freedom released its country report on religious freedom in India, and they have marked India in the red zone. The technical word is country of particular concern, along with all other nations where religious persecution is going on. And this is not this year. For the 3 consecutive years, US SURF has been reporting India as the country of particular concern. Even today when we are talking, over 10,000 NGOs like Ford Foundation, many church-related NGOs who were serving Indians, 40%, more than 40% of Indian population is below the poverty line. They have been blocked by the Indian government. Their registration has been cancelled. Attacks on churches, the mosques, the gurdwaras are continuing. Even just last week, in a 100 years old church convent school in Bengaluru, in state of Karnataka, the Hindu fundamentalists came and said, you can't take the Bible classes here. So this is the true India which it is today. And as in the 1930s, when Nazi Germany, its policies, one nation, one race, one people was going around, majority were thinking, oh, Germany is progressing, how trains are on time, how there is a hustle bustle in the market. But after the Second World War, But we saw that what has been done by Nazis, not only in Germany, when they went to the Europe, then we said, never again, never again. And today look at what is happening in India. The country which is being run by Prime Minister Modi, the RSS, which was founded in 1920s, and look at the bunch of thoughts written by the founder of RSS, Golwalkar. He said that the solution which Nazi Germany has done to the minorities, the same solution should be applied in India. This is way back in 1920s, and the slogan of present regime is Hindu, Hindi, Hindustan, that it is a nation of the Hindus, only Hindi language will be spoken here, and there is no place for minorities other than either convert to Hinduism or be ready to perish like the Spanish Inquisition. And brothers and sisters, we are proud that in these 5 centuries of Sikh history, we have taken on 4 powerful regimes in that part of the world. Mughal regime, the Mughal dynasty, the great Mughals, and as the persecution was going on, Sikhism, which started as a religion of the saints, soon became the religion of the saint soldier. When a Sikh is referred, he said as a saint soldier, meaning Sikh should have the wisdom of a saint and the courage of a soldier. We fought against Mughals for 100 years. 5 of our generations were born and raised in jungles, but eventually we were able to rout out that. Today, as American forces for 20 years were stuck in Afghanistan, it's a good thing that they came safely home, but that part of the world is known from where invaders used to come in our part of Punjab and used to go to the end of India. Sikhs are the first ones which drew that border, which today is called Durand Line, which was lined as a border in 1893. But that was the border which was drawn by the brave Sikhs way back in 1839. Unfortunately, in 1849, British colonials, and there are a lot of similarities. What the dream of our founding fathers was, how the 13 colonies, their representatives got together in Philadelphia and they declared their independence from British colonials. The similarities in the dream, in the vision of our founding fathers and Sikhism. Sikhism believes in religious freedom, believes in liberty, believes in justice for all. Out of 10 Sikh gurus, 2 Sikh gurus were persecuted, were assassinated, were martyred for the reason they stood for these values. And eventually, in 1849, after 2 Anglo-Sikh wars, our Punjab was taken over by the British Empire, but for 98 years, as the Britishers stayed in India until 1947, it is important to understand what is the history of our freedom. And the important part was that in 1940, when after the Second World War, Britishers and other European colonists realized that they can't colonize the other part of the world, and that was a part of the deal with President Roosevelt as well and Churchill, that they should go free. And that was the time Britishers hastily retreated from South Asia. Sikhs were the third party to the negotiations which happened in London. Hindus were represented by Gandhi and Nehru Congress Party. Muslims are represented by Muhammad Ali Jinnah, a Muslim League president, and Sikhs were represented by Tara Singh and Baldev Singh. There was an option for the Sikhs to get an independent country, but Sikhs preferred to stay in India, as was promised by Gandhi and Nehru, that in no constitution in India will be accepted which won't be acceptable to the Sikhs. And that was the historical blunder when in 1947, Sikhs, our Punjab was carved out, was divided between the two. Almost 2/3 of Punjab went to Pakistan, 1/3 came to India. 40% of Sikhs were displaced from the other side of Punjab, came as a refugees. But very soon, the hard-working Sikhs made their place. But to our dismay, we found that from one slavery of the British colonials, we have come under the Hindutva slavery. and our struggle started right then. And I think one thing I want to mention today in the world is the Ukrainian flag is telling us that how they were fascist or they were Nazis, how they created trouble in the world as today Russia, the way they have invaded an independent sovereign nation of Ukraine. And look at the whole world is condemning Russia. The whole world is standing with our Ukrainian brothers and sisters. Look at where India is standing. India is supporting Putin. India opposed that resolution which declared Russia as the aggressor. They opposed it in UN Security Council. They opposed it in UN General Assembly. They opposed it UN Human Rights Council in Geneva. That is India standing with Russia. And that is what, if that India can do that at the international level, what they are doing to their minorities, it shouldn't be hard to understand. In the last almost 75 years since 1947, we have gone through one persecution or the other, but the final assault came in the first week of June 1984. Full-fledged total war on the Sikhs. Sanctum Sanctorum of the Sikhs, Golden Temple Amritsar, was invaded by Indian army. The whole of Punjab was cut off from the rest of the world. All foreign correspondents were thrown out, and a full-scale genocide for the next 6 months occurred. Over 100,000 Sikh young men were killed between the years 1984 and 1994. Those were the years Amnesty International was not allowed in India. Human Rights Watch was not allowed in India. Brothers and sisters, this is the story that after 37 years being in India, from 1947 till 1984, Sikhs hoped that any peaceful negotiation, we are not for letting blood flow, or as has been mentioned in the Declaration of Independence, that we are against any bloodshed and want all issues through negotiation. But after 37 years of so-called independence, full-scale attack came, and that was the time that when on January 26, 1986, a huge gathering in front of Akal Takht. When we say Akal Takht, it marks the sovereignty of the Sikh nation. Hundreds of thousands of Sikhs gathered there, and they said no more with India, and they formed 5-member committee to give the future political course to the Sikh nation. That 5-member committee on this day, April 29, 1986, declared their Declaration of Independence. Today's Declaration of Independence has the same importance in Sikh history as is the July 4th, 1776 Declaration. Even at that time, 13 colonies didn't know what will be the result. A time came when a good number of people started thinking why we have challenged so powerful Britishers, and we know Mr. Paine, who wrote Common Sense and said, dark days try the soul of men. And similarly, when we declared our independence, we knew India is known in the world as the largest democracy. We knew that we are a tiny, tiny minority, but we, the believers of God, we believe that ultimately truth prevails. And in this city of Norwich, in the land of Martin Luther King, who reminded us injustice anywhere is the threat to justice everywhere, we remember our great president, our great thinker Benjamin Franklin, who said that let we hang together, otherwise we will be hanged separately. We are thankful to our American brothers and sisters. You are standing with us, and eventually, as we have seen in the history, as I said earlier, we fought against the Mughals, we fought against the Afghan invaders across Darai Khyber, we fought against British colonial. One time was in America in 1912, there were 8,000 Sikhs living in California, Central Valley. But then they thought that we won't accept slavery. Out of 8,000, 7,000 went back to India to free India from the British colonials. That is the history of sacrifices of this great Sikh nation. We are thankful, city of Norwich, the citizens of this city, the citizens of this great country. We will never forget you. We are we are the people who always remember even nice small gesture in history. And Norwich has created a history today. And with my all brothers and sisters, as Zindabad when we say, it is long live. And as our nation of Khalistan, whose boundaries will be between the river Jamuna and Wagah, which is the bordering India and Pakistan. And I want to mention, as was mentioned by Swaranjit Singh Khalsa, 3 nuclear powers, India, Pakistan and China. And our Khalistan is in between. And as a buffer state in between these 3 nuclear armed countries, which have gone in war couple of times against each other, we are the only ones who can push them away. And that is why whenever I gave my presentation in US Congress, we are very lucky that today we have a US Congressional Sikh caucus. Over 50 congressmen are part of the Sikh caucus, which is the bipartisan caucus. And even in the 3 weeks ago in US Congress, a resolution has been introduced by 12 congressmen declaring April 14th as the Sikh National Day. We are hoping that a day will come when our Khalistan will be amongst those 194 United Nations member countries. One nation will be created. We stand with the people of Ukraine. Sikhs have established a humanitarian aid camp in Poland, joining the Ukraine border. Thousands and thousands are going there to help our Ukrainian brothers and sisters. Let me raise 5 slogans in support of Khalistan, in support of our over 100,000 brothers and sisters who got martyred in these 36 years, so that we should be able to live a life of dignity and honor in the coming years. Khalistan
Jindabad!
Khalistan
Jindabad!
Khalistan
Jindabad!
Khalistan
Jindabad!
Khalistan.
Jindabad!
Thank you very much.
Bole So Nihal! Sat Sri Akal!